This solar eclipse portal that we are in did not come to play. We just had a solar eclipse in Leo and it was a new moon. And Leo is all about visibility and being seen. Whether we want to admit it or not, we all have a visibility wound. One may have the wound of, I have to hide my true feelings. I have to hide how I really feel. I have to hide the truth of my being, the things that I've endured, and I have to put on a mask. I have to let my ego lead. I have to perform to show up in a way that I think people will enjoy. The version of me that I think people will like to be around. Then there's the other side where we are begging to be seen, where we're performing love and really stepping outside of the truth of our being, maybe taking it overboard of our pain and our trauma and our need to be seen and utilizing it as a way to connect, a way to receive, a way to show up. Both create a narrative that we live with. Both create some type of version of ourselves that at some point has to die. What part of you is performing for people to see? And what part of you is hiding because you're afraid of what might happen if people actually saw the real you? Take a nice big inhale and exhale. And let's get into this episode. Welcome to the Ashleie Elaine podcast, where soul meets strategy, spirit meets systems, and healing becomes your legacy. This is a space for visionaries, healers, builders, my cycle breakers, and leaders who know they're here to create more than just ideas. They're here to build something that will last. We talk about all things from spirituality to healing, public health to birthing your soul purpose. So whether you're birthing a program, intervention, a business, reimagining your current work, or reclaiming your whole life's rhythm, you are in the right place. Let's begin. And welcome back to the Ashleie Elaine podcast. I am so happy to be back, although this is my second time, maybe third time recording this episode. Um, because the first time I recorded it, I sat with it and I was like, something's missing. Something is not hitting the way that I need it to. And I've been sitting with my own with my own self. I've been sitting with myself in terms of like this thing around worth and visibility and being seen and validation and all of those things. And I need us to one remember that sometimes there's a wound that we are here to heal. There might be several. There's we all have come here to heal something within ourselves. And it's a lifelong journey, right? Like, let's one remember that healing doesn't happen overnight. And if you are still here, walking, talking, breathing, and on this earth, you have not closed your eyes yet and went on to the other side, there is still work for you to do. So I want to always establish that healing is not just like there's levels to it, right? I always see healing as a video game because that's the only thing I can relate it to. Shout out to the millennials that have played endless nights of Mario Brothers. But this this visibility wound has been something that I've been tapping into in healing for a very long time, and it comes in these big layers, right? I believe that everything comes in layers, and when you're ready for the next portion of that wound to heal, it will come to you. So I've been sitting with like, what is this visibility wound that a lot of us sit with? What does it look like? And it's it's not so much as like nobody sees me, right? It can also be that I need to be seen in order to know that I matter. I need to be seen in order to know that I'm worthy. I need to be seen in order to know that I'm loved. I need to be seen in order to know that I'm cared for. And I think that is its own work within itself. There was a moment where I like didn't feel celebrated or wasn't being celebrated the way that I wanted to. And then I made a vow to myself. I was like, Ash, you want to be celebrated? Go celebrate yourself. So now I make it a life ritual, right? Even if I don't tell anybody certain things that I like have accomplished, I just go celebrate myself. It could be from the smallest of celebrations where I just go to my favorite sushi spot and order in, and not that rest is something that needs to be celebrated because it's something that is our birthright, but I'll like make a real intentional date for myself, right? Where like rest is included in that. Or it will be something as grand where as like for my birthday, I'll start buying myself things, wrap it up in like wrap it all up in a box and go hide it somewhere. And then when my birthday comes, like I've already got my reservation in place. I've already got the things that I wanted to give myself. And sometimes I forget what I buy myself, which is the fun part. So that was something that I had to give myself. So really understand, excuse me, this visibility wound. We have to understand, what is it that I actually want? Why is it that we feel like being seen, being visible is going to heal something within us? And even saying that out loud, I'm thinking about like, are we paying attention to the people who do see us, right? Even giving ourselves definition to, what does it mean to be seen? Like, what is it that you actually want? For me, being seen means actually someone taking the time to hear me and to witness me, right? Like, what is that for you? What is that thing for you? It can also mean, right, that visibility wound can also mean that you're afraid to be seen because you're afraid of what people might actually discover about you, right? We are afraid of judgment. We are afraid of transparency and vulnerability because then we have to admit that, uh-oh, we are imperfect humans. Like, I still don't understand this perfection thing as we're sitting um in Virgo season right now, where we have to hide. None of us are perfect. All of us are trying to figure this out. Now, if you're trying to hide the fact that you are like a serial child molester, that's something that needs to be known, unfortunately and fortunately, because that is safety and protection of community and people and the right of people knowing how to protect themselves and their children. But if we're talking about like the inequities of, I don't know if inequity is the word I wanted to use. There's another word I wanted to use and it's not coming to me. But if we're talking about like the things that we've endured because people endure things, the things that we have witnessed, the things that have scarred us, um, the things that we don't know, the things that we do know but wish we didn't know, the things that we've the traumas and the pain, like we like there's I want people to stop hiding, right? I think that's the biggest part of the visibility wound that, I'm going to say it out loud, annoys me because there's so much love in being transparent, and I think there's such a judgment on people and the things that they've been through that is actually pretty gross. Don't know why we're still judging people, but like life is hard. Life is raggedy and life is ghetto, and we're all trying to figure this thing out. So there's this visibility wound literally has two different sides of the coin. So when we're talking about performing to be seen, we're talking about achievements, right? Are you achieving these things because you are looking to be praised and worshiped and seen? Um I think a lot about in childhood, right? Early childhood development is my thing, and how those pivotal, like that is such a pivotal time frame for how we develop relationship and our sense of self in connection to that relationship, right? Our sense of self is formed in relationship. So a lot of the times when you think about like kids who are like, look mommy, look, like look at me, right? It's like, what is the response given to that, right? Like think back to that childhood wound where visibility wasn't a thing, or you were looking for attention and visibility was the thing, right? Using your achievements to gain that attention and that attraction and that visibility, being impressive, right? That is, my God, that is a visibility wound. I feel like I keep meeting the same person over and over again, the same guy, where it's like the things that they have is what they use to be visible, and it's impressive. And you can't impress somebody with depth that has depth, emotional maturity, emotional I don't know why emotional grit came to me, right? With the kind of car that you drive. I'm sorry. With designer labels. Like someone who has emotional depth is not impressed by any of those material things. So there's always going to be a mismatch, right? Being useful, the person that's the has the savior complex and is wants to be used all the time. That person probably gets depleted a lot. being the strong one, being successful, trying to find a way to curate your image all the time, right? Like choosing to only show up and I think there's like a fine line between like curating your image and privacy because I'm here for privacy, right? I'm all about privacy even though I'm very transparent and very vulnerable in like my sharing. There's a lot that people still don't know about me. But there's such a fine line between like how you're going to curate your image and privacy. I think curating your image is you constantly choosing the face that you want to put on, how you want to present yourself. And not that choosing how you want to present yourself is a bad thing, where you allowing room for that version of you that you're presenting, that version of you that you're curating, that image that you're setting out into the world, where do you leave room for that person to grow, to make a mistake, to connect? And I think the big thing for me is connection. I can't connect with a curated person. Like there's no realness in that. There's no um like the connection's going to be false, right? There's not going to be anything that we can actually really relate on because once you start to hit those areas of like a little start hitting the surface and start cracking it a little bit, that person that is curating an image is not going to like they're going to flee because now their mask is going to start getting broken. That image that they curated is going to start like panicking because it's like, oh, I didn't account for this image that I put together to go deep, to go below the surface. We're supposed to stay right here on the mask, right? Performing healing. We've seen this. We've seen this. Ew, we've seen this. And then performing vulnerability. Fake deep. Fake deep. Um the other side of that coin when we're healing to be seen is perfectionism, right? Making sure everything is nice and tidy and neat. The ego doing the work and not the heart or the soul doing any of the things. Emotional distance, right? I don't want to keep you I don't want you to be close because if I let you get closer than my arm's length and maybe even like a little bit longer than that, then that means I have to actually be vulnerable. That means I have to actually allow myself to connect with you beyond this space that I want to connect in. So I'm just going to keep you at arm's length. Um, what else? Controlling perception. That is borderline manipulation in my book. Yeah. Only showing a polished version of you. Ugh. I like being unpolished. I love when I get polished. I like to be able to show the versatility and the truth and the realness of life. Because life is not polished. There is nothing polished about this shit at all. But there are moments where we can make it really, really pretty. I like the unpolished version of life. It is real. It is where healing can happen. It is where connection can begin. It is where communities can engage and really have real conversation about what needs to change. It is where advocacy happens. It is where policies can be changed. Like the unpolished version of this thing called life is probably the most beautiful thing ever. So it really bothers me when people want to hide behind something that's not real, right? Perfection isn't real. And what else? Refusing to let people see you in an uncertain place or see you in an imperfect place. that is something that me personally I've had to sit with um because I had to perform perfection for love and attention and acceptance, and it still wasn't enough. So you get to a point where you're like, you know what? You don't even like me when I am trying to be perfect. I might as well just keep being imperfect because at least I'm going to be true to myself. At least I can breathe. At least I'm allowed to see myself and cry and laugh and enjoy the things that make me who I am, even if you think they are not perfect. So, what this has brought me to is like really looking at this visibility versus validation, right? When we're looking at visibility, we're 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 talking about like being known, being witnessed, um expression, being expressed, sharing expression and like experience. Validation is when you're receiving confirmation from someone for what you do, how you feel, um what like something you've created that is of value. And I think most definitely in the entrepreneur space, my healers, my helpers, and my entrepreneurs, creators, all of that. I think sometimes, like, this is the journey, right? This is the journey for us who are free spirits, who are thinkers, who are creators, who are builders, because what entrepreneurship teaches us, what being a creative teaches us, is that sometimes, most times, all the time, yes, you are creating and building and doing the thing for other people. And you are going to be the one to hold that thing back if you are constantly looking at how someone perceives what it is that you are doing, what it is that you are building, what it is that you are offering, how much you're offering, right? There was a coaching course that I took while I was in Cambodia. And I think one of the most powerful things that I walked away with that was how you do pricing and like how money and have not having clients or how many clients you have, like how that plays on what you think about you, what you think about your offerings, what you think about what you're producing. If you constantly are tying what you do, what you offer, what you put out into the world to the validation of who you are, what you're supposed to be doing, all of those things, you're always going to be chasing the the confirmation of people. So it's going to be hard for you to build what it is that you need to for the people that actually need it and that are going to pay what it is that they need and want to pay for it, because like those clients are out there, those organizations are out there, those people are out there. It's going to be hard for you to do that because you're tying your worth to people that are saying no, people that are saying, "Oh my god, your prices are too high." People who are saying that are confused about what it is that you do, people who are not really connecting to your art or your work or whatever that is. It's when it comes down to it, it's not for them. It's not for them. It's just not for them. So there's this fine line between our visibility being tied to our validation. And sometimes, yes, sometimes like it's a mind thing, right? Like It's like, "Ooh, if I don't put this out, no one will see me, no one will see my work," right? Because at some point you have to just do the thing. You have to rip the Band-Aid off and just say the thing. You have to rip the Band-Aid off and just post the thing. You have to rip the Band-Aid off and just show up to the thing, right? You have to rip the Band-Aid off and just record the thing. And the other side is like practicing that whether people respond to it or not doesn't validate who you are. It doesn't validate or invalidate the art. It doesn't validate or invalidate the words that you're saying. And one thing I've had to learn, especially doing this podcast, is that what I am meant to do, what I am called, crafted, and created to do is for specific people. And that specific person is going to change with every episode that I put out, with every book that I write, with every business that I help build, with every uh, room that I step in, because I know that whatever it is that I am meant to speak about, it's going to meet those people right where they are. So when you know who you are, visibility becomes the tool that you need to reach the people that you are meant to reach. And sometimes visibility goes beyond where you even want it to go or where you believe it to go, right? It's less about the validation. You have to validate you. The visibility is not going to validate you. Visibility is actually very overwhelming, right? It like, if we can be honest, it is very overwhelming when you set yourself in a posture of saying yes to what it is that you are called, crafted, and created to do, what your soul came here to do, what your purpose is. If it is meant to be in some capacity of other people receiving it or criticizing it, that comes with the game of visibility. So you have to do the work in really understanding or separating validation from showing up. When someone doesn't validate something that you do, can you still show up? Can you still show up when you get zero, when you get people who sign up for something and then don't show up? Can you still show up when you only have 5 people like your post and you knew it was about to like break some necks? You knew it was about to change some hearts. You just had this, right? Can you still show up? Can you still show up after you've written the book and scheduled a book signing and no one shows up? Can you still show up when you've pressed record, you've bought the mic, you've done the things, you said, I'm ready to start this podcast, I'm ready to start this YouTube channel? Can you still show up and validate yourself when no one listens to an episode? Because then you have to ask yourself, well, who am I doing this for? And are you willing to wait on the people that are meant for the work that you are putting out? I don't know why I've parked here, because I think what's happening also is like there's just something big is about to happen in terms of like people's visibility. I believe that that is going to be shifting. The people who have been okay being in the background are now going to be coming forth. They are going to be coming out into the limelight. I am recording this at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's witching hours, and y'all know what happens between 1 and 4 o'clock in the morning. I could not sleep. I was not satisfied with the last version of this episode, so I said I am going to make tea and re-record. And this is where we've parked. So there's questions that I want to ask you about unpacking validation versus visibility. Do I want to be witnessed or validated? What happens when nobody acknowledges something that I've done? Do I feel less value when something isn't recognized? That is a big one. That's a big one. Am I creating because I value the creation or because I want someone to notice? And I'm going to pause there. Who's creating the thing? Is it your ego? Is it that curated image of you that created the thing? Or did you sit with this and create it from your soul? Like, did it come from that deep place? It doesn't even have to be a deep, dark place, right? Like, we don't like the depths of you are not always dark. There's a light at the end of every tunnel. And then, can something be meaningful even if nobody sees it? Take a nice big inhale and exhale. It's very interesting. This episode is very different from the last one I recorded and deleted. And I'm actually grateful that I did that. Actually grateful that I did that. I think I want to park here. I think this is all that I want to offer for this episode. Um, I love these questions for us to unpack because, especially in leadership, in entrepreneurship, in like this realm of work, this is who my people are. There is a gift in being visible. I think the question also is, what are we doing with that visibility, right? People want real leaders. People want truth. People want authenticity. People want transparency. People want the real you. We don't want this mask. We don't want mask leadership. We're already living under that and have been. So how are you as a leader, because that's what entrepreneurship is, like you're a leader. You are such a niched expert in whatever it is that you do. How are we going to utilize our visibility and not allow it to be the place of validation, because we've already seen that story, that tower is crumbling, and allow that to be the place where people can trust us, people can connect with us. People still want connection in the age of AI and internet and social media and all of these things. How can we still stay visible and authentic and connect with people instead of using that visibility for validation? And what is your own practice of validating yourself? I think that's a big question too. What is the practice of validating yourself? I may turn this into a series, guys. I don't know. I don't know. I think this is a good one, but I kind of want to park here. I can desire to be seen without needing your seeing to determine my worth. I can desire to be seen without needing your seeing to determine my worth. Mm, sit with that and say it one more time. I can desire to be seen without needing your seeing to determine my worth. Take another nice big inhale and exhale. I love you all for free. Until next time.